What's going on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and now Twitter as well. This is another episode of 717 Sports Chat Live, and I'm your host, Marcus J. How's everybody in the 717 and abroad doing today? And it's a really hot day out today, you guys. Ain't any type of day I would really like to partake in. You know, I'd rather stay in the house in the AC and when it's hot like this outside. You know what I mean? How everybody doing today, though? Everybody having a blessed day. Everybody staying safe out there. Anybody do anything special today? You know what I mean? Take the kids out. You know what I mean? Go do anything eventful. I mean, I know it's only Tuesday or whatever, but hey, you never know what you might find, you know, eventful to do on a day you don't expect nothing, you know, too much events that be going on. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. And we have a few topics that we're going to discuss today. As you see in the background, first topic we're going to cover today is boxing. You know, Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Unfortunately, the fight has been canceled. Errol Spence had to pull out due to a pretty horrific eye injury. We're going to touch on that here in a few moments, as well as my NBA free agency winners and losers. We're going to cover that, as well as some NFL news. A little bit of QB competition going down there in Indianapolis with Carson Wentz being out, the quarterbacks that they do have on roster. Jake Easton and Sam Ehlinger, apparently they having a nice little duel going on down there, as well as Aaron Rodgers plans to sit the entire preseason. We are going to talk about that as well as the opening preseason game of the season featured the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-3. Anytime the Cowboys lose, you got to talk about it. Anytime. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We don't like them over here. But once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. The support is greatly appreciated. All right, we're going to kick this show off right now. So as you see in the background, man, Errol Spence has pulled out of his scheduled championship fight, his scheduled championship defense against legendary Filipino boxer Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. This was a really anticipated fight. I was honestly probably the most anticipated fight of the year in boxing outside of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury trilogy fight. But as you see in the caption, Errol Spence tore his retina in his eye. Apparently, Udonis Ugas, who is the WBA welterweight champion. Now, keep in mind, Manny Pacquiao was the WBA welterweight champion when he beat Keith Thurman. But because he was out for so long, he was out for the last 2 years, they stripped him of the belt and basically put it up on an interim basis between Udonis Ugas and, you know, basically some unknown fighter. Ugas ended up winning that fight, was named the interim champion, but then once Pacquiao was out for too long, they basically stripped him of the belt outright and granted it to Yordenis Ugas. So in a strange, weird way, it kind of works out for Manny Pacquiao because now he gets to compete for the belt he never lost. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that we'd rather obviously see Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao instead of Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao. But unfortunately, with Errol Spence tearing his retina, that's what we're dealt with, unfortunately. It's a really sucky situation, especially being a diehard boxing fan. Like, I was really looking forward to this fight. I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. I'm rooting for Spence to win had this fight took place and no injuries would have happened. I was rooting for Spence to win, but I actually picked Pacquiao to win by decision. But unfortunately, now we're not going to get this fight up until obviously a later date, and that's even if Pacquiao beats Yordenis Ugas. Because Yordenis Ugas was scheduled to face Fabian Maidana, the younger brother of legendary Argentine boxer Marcos Maidana. But much like Spence, Maidana also hurt himself. So he had to pull out of the fight with Ugas, which is why Ugas was able to step in and replace Spence to fight Pacquiao. But man, it sucks, y'all. Like, really, it really sucks. I was really looking forward to this fight. The whole boxing world was looking forward to this fight. No, we wanted to see if it was a passing of the torch or if Manny Pacquiao was going to turn back the clock like he did against Keith Thurman. This is a very stylistically an intriguing fight. Both are southpaws. Manny has really hardly ever fought southpaws. So that's why, for me, it was really interesting to see this fight happen. But unfortunately, as you see in the caption, Errol Spence injures his eye, has a torn retina. Yordenis Ugas will step in and fight Manny Pacquiao and put his WBA welterweight title on the line against Manny Pacquiao. So once again, it's a sucky situation, especially for boxing fans and Errol Spence. Hopefully the champ gets well fast and surgery goes well on that retina. But for Manny Pacquiao, it's a win-win situation because now he gets to revisit this fight somewhere down the line with Spence. And also with this fight with Ugas, now he gets to knock off that 2-year layoff ring rust. Any ring rust that he has, he gets to knock that off by facing a guy who's honestly, even though he's a belt holder, he's a decent fighter, but he's not the caliber of Errol Spence or even Manny Pacquiao, even at this advanced age. So for Manny Pacquiao, it's a win-win situation. As I said, he gets to compete now for the belt he never lost, that they stripped him of, because Yordenis Ugas has that belt. Yordenis Ugas fought for the interim WBA welterweight title in Manny Pacquiao's absence. Keep in mind, when boxers, unlike in UFC pulls the trigger a little bit sooner on stripping titles for inactivity. Boxing will give you a little bit more leniency. So when you're a champ in recess, that's what they either call it, a champion in recess / champion emeritus status. That's what Manny Pacquiao was up until the WBA, which, keep in mind here, just came out that they are eliminating a lot of these boxing titles that they have that they don't need. They have so many boxing titles in the WBA boxing organization. It's ridiculous. You have the WBA regular. You have the WBA interim. You have the WBA super. You have the WBA undisputed, whatever. They have too many belts in the WBA system, which is why they decided to strip Manny Pacquiao because, one, he was out for too long, and two, they're trying to get rid of all these belts and just crown one champion, which I like. They need the whole boxing organizations need to do that. From the WBC to the IBF. All of them. WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. They all need to follow these footsteps of eliminating all these unnecessary title belts and just create one belt for each weight class. That's all you need. That's all you need for each weight class. But as I said, it's a win-win situation for Manny Pacquiao because now he gets to fight for the belt he never lost. So that now, when he does go to fight Errol Spence, it's a true unification fight. It's a true unification fight. So, as unfortunate as it is that Errol Spence is now injured and had to pull out of this fight, to some degree, it kind of works itself out later down the line if Manny Pacquiao can beat Yordenis Ugas. And I do say if because Manny is 42 years old coming off of a 2-year layoff. Just because he looked good 2 years ago against Keith Thurman does not mean he was going to look the same against Spence or even against Ugas. So please keep that in mind. But I do expect Manny Pacquiao, obviously, to beat Yordenis Ugas pretty handily. Pretty handily. Will it be by knockout? Maybe. Depends on how well Ugas can take a quality shot from this type of level of fighter. I mean, yes, he fought Sean Porter, but not saying Sean Porter doesn't hit hard, but Sean Porter's punches doesn't consist of accuracy. He's a mauler. He's a puncher who throws value punches and tries to wear you down and eke out a decision. As we know, Manny is much more accurate, more fluid fighter, even at 42 years old. If Father Time hasn't caught up to Manny Pacquiao. And we have to keep that in mind, that at 42 years old, obviously, Father Time can catch up with him, especially in this sport. He was fortunate against Keith Thurman that Father Time didn't catch up to him then. He still obviously showed he had enough juice. But will that carry on into this fight 2 years later? We'll see. That was the big question as well heading into the Spence fight. How will 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao look? Will he look like the guy who was still credible and pulled out the win against Keith Thurman? Or will Father Time catch up to Manny Pacquiao finally and he'll look like every bit of 42 years old that he is? And that question still remains to be answered. Because you can't sleep on Yordenis Ugas. Just based on the youth itself. And keep in mind, Yordenis Ugas, the guy who's stepping in, the WBA welterweight champion, who's stepping in for Errol Spence, is a former Olympian himself. So it's not like this guy's a bum. He's a good fighter. He's a solid fighter. But has he lived up to the Olympic potential that he was hyped to be? No. Is he on Manny Pacquiao's level? If Manny Pacquiao's 42 years old but still fluid, and if Manny Pacquiao looks like the guy that showed up against Keith Thurman, especially in the early rounds, is Yordenis Ugas on Manny Pacquiao's level still? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But this is the fight we're getting, people, unfortunately, because Errol Spence tore his retina. Man, I'm really disappointed with this. This is really, really, really disappointing. Really disappointing. Really disappointing, man. Like, this, to me, was bigger than the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3 trilogy fight. Just because it's Manny Pacquiao at 42 years old, going up against the young, basically recognized welterweight champion. Errol Spence is basically the universally recognized welterweight champion of the world. No matter how many other organizational belts there are, etc. Errol Spence is the number one welterweight in the world. There's no doubt about that. And that's what was intriguing about this fight. Is it going to be a passing of the torch? Is Errol Spence going to show that this is his time and this is his generation and this is his now? Or was Manny Pacquiao on the verge of showing this young man and humbling this young man that this old guy can still turn back the clock and can beat younger fighters like you? Unfortunately, we're going to obviously have to wait longer now and see. And it's going to be real interesting to see how much longer we have to wait. We don't know how long we're going to have to wait to see how this eye is going to heal up for Spence. We don't know. It could take 3 months, it could take 6 months, it could take a whole year. And the question begs to differ. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, right? Manny Pacquiao goes in, wipes the floor with ugas, no problem. Gets him out of there quite early. Let's just go with that. Or just beats him handily. Beats him soundly. Let's say Errol Spence says he can't make a return for 6 to 9 months. If you're Manny Pacquiao, do you wait? If you're Manny Pacquiao, do you wait for Errol Spence to come back? Or, if you're Manny Pacquiao, do you fight somebody else? Maybe like a Bud Crawford. Excuse me. After this fight between ugas and Pacquiao, hopefully we don't get any more injuries leading up to this fight to where it gets canceled outright. But this will answer some questions, especially when we find out how long Errol Spence is going to be out for. That's going to answer a lot of questions. How Manny Pacquiao still performs the night of the fight against a different opponent, and how long Errol Spence will be out for. How long will Errol be out for? Because if you're Manny Pacquiao, I don't think you wait for him. I don't. I think you go take the fight with Terrence Crawford. And I say this because by the time you fight Errol Spence, when he comes back, you're going to be 43. And like I said, if it's a 6 to 9 month layoff, now you're going to have to deal with a 6 to 9 month rust. As opposed to if he goes and beats ugas, finds out Spence ain't going to be able to come back for 6 to 9 months. That's just for the sake of argument. If he finds out Spence is out for 6 to 9 months to let that eye heal, why wait for another fight, especially when you're only getting older? So I think if Spence is out for an extended period of time, that it's best that Manny Pacquiao, if he gets past Rodgers ugas, it's best if he moves forward and fights Terrence Bud Crawford. That's my opinion, though. I want to know your guys' opinion. Hit the comment section and let me know what you guys think about this fight. I know you guys are disappointed, so I don't even got to ask that. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And let me know what you guys think about Manny Pacquiao fighting Rodgers ugas. Do you think that Manny Pacquiao is still going to turn back the clock? Or do you think that Father Time will catch up with Manny Pacquiao regardless of who's in the ring with him that night next week on August 19th? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. This is very disappointing. And also, hit the comment section and let me know what you guys think about Errol Spence. How long do you guys think he will be out for? How long do you think Errol Spence will be out with this eye injury? Because it's going to require, he says he's going to need surgery. Do you think it'll be a short amount of time or an extended period of time? I honestly think it's going to be an extended period of time. That's a torn retina. That's nothing to play around with, especially when you're a fighter. Because obviously, you need your eyes to see. So hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really disappointed. This sucks. It sucks. This is 2 fights that were supposed to happen in the summer that got postponed due to some type of injury. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder got postponed to October because apparently Tyson Fury got COVID. Apparently he did, even though he was. I more or less think somebody in Tyson Fury's camp got COVID, and just for precaution, they pulled him from the fight because he was obviously in close contact with that person. I don't think Tyson Fury himself had corona because he was showing pictures out and about after that came out. That after it came out, he pulled himself from the fight. He was out and about shopping, doing all types of shit. So, but the point is this is two of the 2 biggest fights of the summer now have gotten canceled due to some type of injury. And it fucking sucks. Especially with this fight, because this was my top fight for boxing this year. For me. And now I got to wait even longer for it. And who's to say it even happens if Pacquiao loses? What if Manny Pacquiao loses next week? Does he still get this fight with Spence? Probably not. Man, this sucks, man. This just took a big turn for the worse. Man. This really, really sucks. Like, man. Like, I really, really wanted to see this fight, man. I really wanted to see this fight. Because now, even if Pacquiao does look good against Yordenis Ugas, we kind of expect him to, because Yordenis Ugas isn't on the level of Manny Pacquiao if Manny Pacquiao is even 75% what he was. As opposed to Errol Spence. As opposed to Errol Spence, who's the #1 welterweight in the world. Oh, man. This is boxing, man. This always happens, man. It's either these guys don't want to fight each other, or when they finally do want to fight each other, somebody gets fucking hurt. It's always happening in boxing. It never fails. It's like they got a curse, a bad curse over that sport, man. But once again, as you see in the caption, Errol Spence injures his retina. He is out of the Manny Pacquiao fight with a torn retina. Yordenis Ugas, the the WBA champion, welterweight champion, steps in. Excuse me. Steps in to fight Manny Pacquiao, being that also his opponent, Fabian Maidana, pulled out with an injury as well. So that's how Yordenis Ugas was even able to get into this fight. So the co-main event and the main event basically had injuries, which derailed both fights. So now we have Yordenis Ugas facing off against Manny Pacquiao. Sucks, man. But hey, we got what we got. We still get to see Manny Pacquiao back in action. I will still be tuning in. I'll be doing live commentary on that fight. I have off work that night, so I will definitely be all over it. I'll definitely be all over it. Probably from, honestly, the time the undercard, like the pre-show undercard start. I will probably be going live, doing the whole coverage on, obviously now Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao fight. But hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think now that this, fight is canceled between Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. And what do you guys think about Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao? Do you guys obviously think Manny Pacquiao is still going to turn back the clock and look sharp against now a lesser quality opponent? Or do you think Yordenis Ugas could shock the world and make Manny Pacquiao look every bit of 42 years old and pull off one of the biggest upsets in history? Because even at 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao is still obviously a quality fighter. He just came. It's just all about what Manny Pacquiao are we going to see? Because, like I said, the last time we saw him, he looked good, but that was 2 years ago. 2 years can make a big difference. It can make a big difference in a good way. It can make a good difference in a bad way. It can work both ways. Because it can work both ways, being at this advanced age, Manny's refreshed. He's not banged up. He's not coming in with injuries. He's not feeling tired. But then the bad side could just be Father Time catches up and his muscle memory doesn't work the way it once did. And that's very possible. Very, very possible. Even against this new opponent in Yordenis Ugas. Because like I said, keep in mind, Ugas is a former Olympian. Even though he has not lived up to the potential of that Olympic status, and he's not a household or a big name, Maybe could be this coming out party. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, we won't be getting the fight that we wanted to see and that we were going to pay to see, which is Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. It's unfortunate, but it's boxing. This happens all the time, especially with the great fights. The ones we want to see happen are usually the ones that either never happen or they take a while to happen. But hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this, about Errol Spence obviously injuring his retina. How long do you guys think Errol Spence will be out for? Will it be 3 months, 6 months, or longer than that? And another question I want to ask you is basically a two-parter. If Manny Pacquiao beats Yordenis Ugas as expected next week or next Saturday night, does Manny Pacquiao wait for Errol Spence to come back off of this injury if he's out for 6 months or more? Does Manny Pacquiao wait? Or does he take another fight against another champion, Bud Crawford, or maybe another fighter like Sean Porter? If Errol Spence is out for 6 months or longer, does Manny Pacquiao wait for him to come back, or does he fight another new opponent? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this unfortunate situation that just took place with Errol Spence injuring his eye, and now we won't be getting this mega fight. Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Man, breaks my heart as a boxing fan. Breaks my heart, man. It really does, man. Like this, like I said, this is the fight for me. This was the biggest fight for boxing for me. We were either going to get a passing of the torch, or old man Pacquiao was going to turn that clock back. And now, even if he does turn the clock back against Ugas, it takes the stink off of it because Ugas isn't considered a top-tier fighter. But be that as it may, Manny is still 42 years old. So if he does fight and beat you, well, he is fighting Ugas and he beats Ugas, especially if he looks good doing so. If he looks sharp, especially if he can knock him out, then we can say, obviously Father Time still hasn't caught up to Manny. But hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this unfortunate news with Errol Spence tearing his retina. How long do you guys think Errol Spence will be out for? And if it's an extended period of time, do you think Manny Pacquiao should wait for him to come back off of this injury? Or do you think Manny Pacquiao, if he wins this fight against Yordenis Ugas, should go on and fight Bud Crawford, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, one of the other top welterweights? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Man. This isn't fair. Why is it always the fights I want to see happen always fuck up? It always happens, man. It sucks. Like, and it's for all boxing fans. It's for all boxing fans because a lot of people love watching Manny Pacquiao fight because you're going to get entertainment. So it's like, and I picked Pacquiao to win this fight because based on what Sean Porter was able to do on the inside against Errol Spence in their fight. Being that I think Manny Pacquiao is a more skilled, polished boxer, especially on the inside fighting, than Sean Porter is, I thought that Manny, if he's 75% what he was, with that speed and that movement, was going to present Spence a lot of problems. And now we won't be able to see it. And for God knows how long. If ever now. If ever. Oh, man. This is stressful, you guys. Stressful. Very, very stressful as a boxing fan. Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about Errol Spence injuring his eye. How long do you guys think he will be out for? As well as, who do you have now winning this fight between Manny Pacquiao and replacement Yordenis Ugas? Do you have Manny Pacquiao turning back the clock still and looking sharp and doing what now he's expected to do against a lower tier fighter? Or do you think this will be your Adonis Ugas' coming out party and that he will shock the boxing world and change the boxing landscape in the welterweight division and knock off Manny Pacquiao, possibly sending him to obscurity and retirement? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this topic. But while you guys do so, I'm going to take a quick break. I will be back in a second. I think it's fucking raining outside. Let me check. I am back, by the way. Give me 1 second. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. All right, I am back again. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I am your host, Marcus J. Just witness it is fucking pissing down outside. So, just to warn you guys, you know what I mean? If this starts lagging a little bit, it's not my fault. It's the rain's fault because for some reason Xfinity hasn't gotten this shit figured out to where sometimes when it rains, it doesn't stop a lag every once in a while. You know what I mean? So if I start lagging a little bit, sorry, it's not me. You know what I mean? It's not that my connection is piss poor. It's just obvious it's starting to rain down here in York. And sometimes that can cause connection issues. But once again, as you see in the caption, Errol Spence injured with a torn retina. Your Adonis Ugas steps in to fight Manny Pacquiao. Unfortunately, we just lost another big fight in this, the second biggest, well, to me, the biggest fight of the summer. And as I stated earlier, we lost Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 3 due to COVID, etc. So the two biggest fights of the summer for boxing has took a shit, to say the least. You know, but hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this. As I said before, how long do you guys think Errol Spence will be out for? Will it be a short amount of time, let's say 3 months, to where he can fight again? Do you guys think it'll be longer than that? If it's 6 to 9 months that Errol Spence is out and Manny Pacquiao wins this fight against Rodgers Ugas, if you're Manny Pacquiao, do you wait? Do you wait for Errol Spence? Or do you take another fight against another top welterweight in the meantime to stay active, being that you just came off a 2-year layoff? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this unfortunate situation. And then we're going to end up moving on to the next subject. All right, now we're going to move on to the next topic, y'all. And that is my NBA free agency winners, and I also have some NBA free agency losers. My top 3 NBA free agency winners and my top 3 NBA free agency losers. So we're going to start with my top 3 free agency winners. And as you can see in the caption, I went with the Lakers, the Heat, and the Bulls. And I'm going to break down for each team the reason why I believe they're the biggest winners of free agency. So we're going to start with the Lakers. The reason why I think the Lakers won or were the best, obviously, in free agency is not only because they require Russell Westbrook. It's not even because of that. Everybody's giving them hell because they got all these veteran players above 30 in their mid-30s, or like Trevor Ariza. Obviously LeBron's 37. Ariza's like 36. Carmelo Anthony's 36, going on 37. Wayne Ellington's over 30. Kent Bazemore's in his early 30s. So a lot of fans are clowning on the Lakers, saying that, oh, these guys are too old, et cetera, et cetera. See, me personally, I don't believe that. When you look at each of these signings that they made, each of these players proved even the last season or 2 years, they still have juice left in the tank. Kent Bazemore still has juice left in the tank. Trevor Ariza can still go out and get you a few rebounds and knock down a couple threes. And it's also experience. Experience. As well as nobody's giving them credit for the signings of Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn. The two youngest signings that they made. Both are 23 years old, or both are going to be coming in the backcourt behind LeBron and Russell Westbrook. And I think that's a terrific tandem. Both can shoot. Both can get their own shot. Now, Kendrick Nunn, obviously, you're going to want running point out of the two more. And you're going to want to have Malik Monk running the two, because Malik is more of a shooter. Kendrick is more of he can facilitate. He's proven that in Miami. He can be a pure point guard coming off the bench. And they're both 23 years old. Nobody's talking about those two signings, and I think those were the two best signings outside of trading for Russell Westbrook. And yes, because they got Russell Westbrook. If this team meshes the right way, and I think that just some reason they will, because if there's anybody that can get Russell Westbrook on board to playing that type of basketball that they want to play, it's LeBron James. It is. Whether you like him or not. That's the truth. If it's anybody, it's LeBron who can be like, look, Russ, the goal is a championship. It's not about triple doubles. We need you to be this. I think Russ will happily step into that role. I do. And when you look at what they have, all these guys that they got can shoot the ball. Carmelo can still shoot. Everybody's Carmelo, they got it. Carmelo just came off of 2 seasons where he averaged 14 points off the bench. It's not bad for an old man. You got some young guys coming off the bench that can't even average 10. You got some guys named Ben Simmons that can't even average 13 a game. And he's getting a max contract. So don't tell me because some of these guys are old that they still can't ball. They prove they can ball. It's all about health, especially with LeBron James. It's all about health. And I think that's why they made this move to go get Russell Westbrook, to take some of the load off LeBron having to push the ball up the court and always be the primary decision maker and facilitator. Now, granted, you're going to want to keep LeBron 75% of the time as the main one pushing the ball up the court. Because in my opinion, you're going to want Russ to run the two. You don't need Russ to be the two and shoot threes. Russ can be the two and do what he does best, and that's get to his spot in the mid-range or go to the rim. He doesn't need to come off a pick and roll or just a straight-up pass from LeBron or a screen and roll and jack up a three. He can penetrate the lane and play his style of basketball. And they still have the shooters. Wayne Ellington can shoot. Basemore's coming off a season where he just shot the best. He's a 36%. He's 36% for his career at three-point shooting. Kent Bazemore. He's coming off a season where he had his best three-point shooting percentage at 40%. So it's not like they went out and got guys who are truly on a decline. The Lakers went out and got guys that can still play. And like I said, I really love the move the two moves that nobody seems to be talking about. Everybody just wants to clown the Lakers in their age. Everybody just wants to clown the Lakers in their age. But they're not talking about those two young moves that they did make. And Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn. And I love those moves because both of those guys can ball and they're both young. Both are solid pieces to come and lead the backcourt when LeBron and Russ need to take a break. Both can come get you 10-plus points off the bench and shoot some threes. And as I said, Kendrick Nunn can also facilitate. So I really like the moves that the Lakers made in free agency, regardless of what anybody else might think. So I see a lot of people out there that might not agree with me. You know what I mean? There is a lot of people out there that don't agree with me because, I'll be in the sports columns and other, group pages and stuff, and all the chatter is, the Lakers are old this, the Lakers are old that. And I don't think you guys are looking at the bigger picture. These moves were not just good moves. They were pretty calculated. Trevor Ariza has championship experience. He's won a title with the Lakers when he was with Kobe. That's instrumental. You need those type of guys for the playoffs. You do. Like a PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker isn't a stat sheet stuffer, but he's a tough guy. He's a guy who will get up in an opposing team's face. He will guard anybody from 1 through 5. You need those type of role players. And I feel like the Lakers did a good job. I think the Lakers did the best job out of anybody in free agency. They're my top winners of free agency. Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about my opinion about the Lakers free agency. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think that the Lakers did have the best free agency out of any team in the NBA? Or, much like a lot of other people out there that I've been seeing, do you agree with them that the Lakers made the wrong moves and that they're too old? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right, now we're going to move on to the second team in this caption here, the Miami Heat. To me, the Miami Heat had the second best free agency based on what they acquired in terms of trading for Kyle Lowry. Now, I want to keep in mind here, the Heat and the Bulls that are on this list are being investigated by the NBA for potential tampering. But right now, that's neither here or there because we don't have the full details on that. It's early stages of the investigation. But apparently, the NBA believes there might have been some tampering done by both teams to acquire the players they acquired. But be that as it may, tampering aside, let's forget about the tampering. Let's say they didn't tamper, right? And everything was clean on both teams. Let's talk about the Heat. The Heat traded for Kyle Lowry, upgraded at the point guard position from Goran Dragic. Kyle Lowry may be 35, but he can still get you 15 to 20 points a game. As well as he's a champion. He has playoff experience. He has championship experience. He has championship pedigree. As well as going out and re-signing Victor Oladipo. I really, really like what the Heat did as well. That's basically essentially a big four, especially if Oladipo can remain healthy. You got Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3. Duncan Robinson's most likely going to start at the 4 because they gave him all that money. And then you got Bam Adebayo. Wow. That's any basketball fan out there, you know that's a hell of a lineup. Especially if Victor Oladipo can stay healthy. If that guy can stay healthy, watch out. The Heat are going to be they're going to be a problem for anybody in the league. Anybody from west to east. Doesn't matter. I really like the moves the Heat made. You get Kyle Lowry. People say another guy, oh, he's washed up. No, he's not. He's still putting up 15 to 20 points a game. He's not washed up. He's got championship experience. Something that the Heat lacked in the bubble when they faced the Lakers in the championship. And he still was able to pull 2 wins off of the Lakers. Keep that in mind. So not only did you go out and get a guy with that type of championship pedigree in Kyle Lowry, you got Victor Oladipo back on a 1-year sweet deal. And Victor Oladipo is a guy who just a few years ago was ascending in Indiana as a top star in the NBA before injuries started plaguing him. So, if Victor Oladipo can stay healthy, and this entire team can stay healthy, watch out for the Miami Heat. They'll be right back in the NBA Finals conversation, I assure you. On that one. But hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about me picking the Miami Heat as my second best free agency winner of the free agency period for the NBA. Do you agree with me? Do you like the moves they made by acquiring Kyle Lowry via trade, as long as it's clean? Obviously, like I said, the tampering thing is lingering over them and the Bulls, as I'm about to talk about. But do you like the moves they made in acquiring Kyle Lowry and Victor Oladipo, getting him back on a 1-year deal? Or do you disagree with me and think that these moves will not help their chances or will cause them to decline more in the East and make them worse than what they were last year? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this, about the Heat. What do you guys think the Heat will do? Do you think these acquisitions that they got will help them and improve them get back to the NBA Finals? Or do you think these were bad moves, getting Kyle Lowry via trade and re-signing Victor Oladipo, and that this unit between Lowry, Oladipo, Adebayo, and Butler, it won't work? Or will it work? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. And before we start talking about the Bulls, I am going to take another short break. I will be back in a second. All right, and we are back. This is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J., and we are just wrapping up my NBA free agency winners. As you can see in the caption, my number one free agency winners in the free agency for the NBA is the Lakers, and my number 2 is the Heat. If you wasn't watching before when I gave my reasons, I really like the moves in terms of getting Russell Westbrook. I think if there's anybody that can make Russell Westbrook play a different brand of basketball, it will be LeBron James. As well as I like the free agency moves, the veteran moves that they made. I just do. That's just me, though. Hit the comment section. Let me know if you agree with me or if you don't agree. As well as the Heat, I mentioned about the Miami Heat. They acquired Kyle Lowry via sign and trade, even though that is kind of under investigation right now for possible tampering. We'll have more news on that once we get more details on that situation. But tampering aside, Kyle Lowry, sign and trade to the Miami Heat. Miami Heat signs Victor Oladipo on a one-year deal to pair him with Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo. Me personally, I like those moves a lot. I think the Heat are going to be a threat in the East, but I want to know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think these moves helped the Heat? Do you think these moves didn't help the Heat? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. And now we're going to move on to the last part of this caption, and that is, do the Chicago Bulls. I would be the first to tell you, I did not see the Chicago Bulls being a player for anybody, any big name in free agency at all. If you would ask me at the start of free agency, the Chicago Bulls would acquire Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan to pair with Nikola Vucevic, I'd say whatever fucking pot you're smoking, pass the blunt, bro, because I want some. Dead serious. I never would have thought the Bulls would be in play this free agency. But they proved me and a lot of NBA fans wrong. They came out guns blazing, and now the Chicago Bulls are a team to talk about again in the East. As long as this unit of Vucevic, DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball works as a cohesive unit and they can mesh. I said it before last week when I was covering what the Bulls did in free agency, the moves they made. The Chicago Bulls can be this upcoming season's Atlanta Hawks. Now, I'm not saying the Bulls are going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and go on a crazy run and this and that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that before last season started, when I'd seen the moves that the Atlanta Hawks made, I said that the Hawks are going to be a problem if they mesh right. And long and behold, I was right. That was thunder, by the way. But long and behold, I was right. The Hawks ended up going to the Eastern Conference Finals, shocking my 76ers. I can see the Bulls being, I'm not saying they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I can see the Bulls being that team that hasn't been good for a while, that finally gets good, and now they're in the playoffs. I can see the Bulls being a playoff team with this roster, especially with this big three that they got in Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. I really love the moves of getting DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball. Like I said, did not see it coming whatsoever. Did not see any of these moves by the Bulls coming whatsoever. Now, just like the Heat, we do have to see if these moves will be held up, because now the NBA is investigating both teams for possible tampering. And as we know, if it's found that they're guilty of that, both those deals, all those deals will be null and void. Kyle Lowry will be sent back to Toronto. Lonzo Ball will be sent back to New Orleans, as well as DeMar DeRozan will be sent back to the Spurs. So, hopefully, there was no wrongdoing on both teams' parts, because I really like what both the Heat and the Bulls did this offseason and free agency so far in terms of acquiring big-name acquisitions. Like I said, I did not see the Chicago Bulls coming. I did not. I did not see them coming. They blindsided a lot of people. A lot of people didn't see the Bulls coming. I remember going into work the next day talking about it to my buddy Ryan, like, yo, the Bulls? And he's like, the Bulls. Like, it's crazy. Didn't see that coming at all. But I like it. I like it a lot. I think Lonzo Ball is only going to keep getting better. He's improved his three-point shooting, which I said, if that guy can get a shot, if he can get a jump shot, he's going to be golden. He's going to be what they thought he was when he first came out for the Lakers, because he has everything else. He can facilitate, and he can play really good defense. He's a really good defender. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, another really good defender, and a guy who can go out and get you. He's a superstar in this league. He can get you 20, 25 a game. And then you got big man Vooch in the paint. And Vucevic, much like Nikola Jokic, is a big guy who can not only work his way in the paint, but he can shoot from the perimeter. He can facilitate as well. I like the moves that the Chicago Bulls made. I really, really do. But I want to know what you guys think. Tampering aside, do you guys like, if the Bulls in the Heat don't get caught for tampering, if not, there was no wrongdoing, do you guys like what the Bulls did in terms of these free agency deals with getting DeMar DeRozan and signing Lonzo Ball? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys like these moves by the Bulls, or do you guys think that these moves won't make the Bulls any better and they will still be the same old Bulls? I don't see how they can be the same old Bulls, ladies and gentlemen, especially if Zach LaVine resigns. I don't even know if Zach LaVine resigned. Let's look that up real quick. I'm going to look that up. Okay, it's already there. No, it's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. No, he's there. He's there with him for one more year. I assumed that when he was talking about his new deal and free agency, I assumed that he was a free agent this year. Zach LaVine will be a free agent next year. So think about this. Lonzo Ball at the 1, Zach LaVine at the 2, DeMar DeRozan at the 3. If I'm not mistaken, the Bulls really like Patrick Williams, so they're probably going to start him at the 4. And then you got Big Vooch down at the 5. If that young team can stay healthy, watch out. The Bulls, man. The Bulls in the Heat, in the East. Wow. This is why I have them as my free agency winners. This is why. Like, wow. Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, possibly Patrick Williams at the 5, and I'm going to say that because I think that guy stood out for them at the 4. I think he's a guy you should plug in at the 4. He's pretty good. And then you got Big Vooch down at the 5. Man, if they can fill out that bench, the Bulls are going to be a problem. But I want to know what you guys think. Hit the comment section and let me know what you guys think about the Bulls' moves in free agency. Do you like the moves, or do you think the moves won't make them any better than what they already are and they will miss the playoffs yet again? Better yet, let me rephrase that question. With this roster, are the Bulls a playoff team, or are they not a playoff team? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. With this roster of Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, possibly Patrick Williams at the 4, and Nikola Vucevic at the 5, do the Chicago Bulls have a chance, and will they make the playoffs next year, Or will this experiment sputter in the first year and will they fall short of the playoffs? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right, so we did the NBA free agency winners. Now we're going to move on to the NBA free agency losers. I have two teams and a player. And the number one free agency loser of free agency is Dennis Schroeder, former shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. And many of you might wonder, well, why do you have Dennis Schroeder up on this list instead of a team? Because Dennis Schroeder decided to bank on himself, thinking that he's a guy who's worth 4 years, $120 million type maximum deal. When he's a solid player, he's a good guy. He's a good player, but he's not a great player. He's not that money. He banked on himself and turned down 4 years, 85, 86 million from the Lakers. He turned it down. And as of earlier today, by reading a report out of Boston, the Celtics are offering a 1-year deal for $5.5 million. You talk about pricing yourself out of a fucking big payday. You talk about pricing yourself out. That's what Dennis Schroeder did. He wanted to get paid like he was the guy, and it's like, yeah, the Lakers were like, yeah, fuck all that. We'll just go trade for Russell Westbrook instead. We'll still offer you 4 years, 80-something mil, but you're not getting over 100 mil, bro. And he said, okay, well, some other team will give me that. How'd that work out for him? Didn't work out at all. You go from being offered a 4-year contract to where you're going to average over $20 million a year to getting offered a 1-year contract for for the veterans minimum, basically. Price yourself out, bro. You're the NBA's biggest free agency loser this year, and that's just the truth. It's not a team; it's you as an individual. You don't price yourself out like that. And then on top of that, it's not even just about the money. You priced yourself out of a possible championship because the Lakers were willing to keep you with Russell Westbrook on the roster. So not only did you price yourself out of possibly getting a ring, you priced yourself out of a big payday. You are definitely the biggest free agency loser of this NBA free agency, Dennis Schroeder. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hell, yo, Lakers, give me 4 years of 80-something mil. I'll try my best to come put up 15 points a game for you. I said I'll try my best. I'm not promising you nothing. But the effort will be worth the pay. Like, I wouldn't price myself out. Like, fuck, I know that much. But once again, that's my number one free agency fantasy. Fantasy. See, I'm thinking about fantasy football and all that shit too. Or whatever. That's my number one NBA free agency loser is Dennis Schroeder. So hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me that Dennis Schroeder, not any team, but Dennis Schroeder, the person, the player alone, is the biggest free agency loser of this year's free agency period? Because he turned down a 4-year contract for 20+ mil on a potential championship winning team and is now getting offered the veterans minimum of 1 year, $5.5 million from the Boston Celtics, which to us is still a lot of money, obviously, for 1 year especially. But when you could have got 4 years over 20+ mil a year, I think you guys would agree with me that he made the dumbest mistake anybody could make. But maybe you don't agree with me. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Dennis Schroeder, single-handedly, no team, just Dennis Schroeder, the player, is the biggest free agency loser? Or do you think I'm wrong about this analysis in this situation? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Okay, and before we move on to the second caption of this banner right here, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back with you in a second. All right, and we are back. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. And right now we are covering my NBA free agency losers. As I covered before, we touch on the second part of this banner I have put up. I have Dennis Schroeder, the player, former shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, as my number one free agency loser of this free agency offseason period for the NBA. Like I said, whenever you you price yourself out of a 4-year, $20 million deal, 4-year, $80+ million deal, averaging 20 mil plus a year, and now to where you're being offered the veterans minimum of 1 year, 5.5 mil, because you priced yourself out, you become the NBA free agency loser of the whole period, bruh. You could have got that bag, but instead you wanted to be selfish and overprice yourself. Hit the comment section. Let me know if you agree with me, about Dennis Schroeder being the NBA's biggest free agency loser. Or let me know if you have somebody else in mind. Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right. Now we're going to move on to the second part of my NBA free agency losers. My number 2 free agency losers of the NBA offseason is my Philadelphia 76ers. And the reason why I went with the Philadelphia 76ers is my second biggest free agency loser is because the Ben Simmons situation. They overvalued him. You tried to trade Ben Simmons for a decent player plus like 3 first-round picks. When Ben Simmons is a guy who showed in the playoffs he's not willing to shoot. Ain't no team going to forge their future on a guy like that, especially with a max contract. It's not going to happen. So much like Dennis Schroeder did with himself, the Sixers overplayed their hand as well by overvaluing Ben Simmons. Oh, we want 3 first-rounders and a good enough player, an all-star caliber player, plus your future. For this guy that is talented, but doesn't have the consistency, doesn't bring the consistency, doesn't bring the fire that you need to be a top-level NBA player. They overplayed their hand. So now, from what I'm reading, the Warriors are interested in Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is interested in the Warriors, the Lakers, And I want to say the Clippers, if I'm not mistaken. And neither one of those teams really have nothing. They're not going to give up any of their superstars to us, especially the Warriors. Apparently, the deal on the table for Ben Simmons is Moses Moody and Andrew Wiggins. That's what Golden State's willing to give us for Ben Simmons. And I'm sorry, Ben Simmons, even though he is the type of player he is, he's still better than both those players combined. But this is the situation that the Sixers found themselves in. Why? Because they overplayed their hand. So now we're going to have to give Ben Simmons up for basically next to nothing. And hope that we can pull the jack of all trades out of our ass and trade for Damian Lillard. That's the only thing that will salvage the Sixers free agency period this year. That's the only thing that will salvage this free agency period, is that they get rid of Ben Simmons, get whatever scrubs or whatever lesser talent they can get for him, and then somehow still acquire Dame Lillard. But as of right now, the Sixers are my second biggest free agency loser of the NBA free agency season. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me about this notion? Do you guys disagree with me? Do you think I'm overreacting and overplaying my hand with this subject myself? Or do you guys agree with me and do believe that we overplayed our hand by overvaluing Ben Simmons, which is why we're in the position we're in now and we'll most likely not get a superstar caliber player back for him? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right, we're going to move on now to NFL news. First part of the caption. Sam Ehlinger is giving Jake Easton competition in the Colts QB battle. Now, keep in mind, obviously, the Colts traded for Carson Wentz this past offseason, and now he is out for 5 to 12 weeks with a broken bone in his foot, a severely broken bone in his foot. And there's been rumblings about the Colts possibly trading for Nick Foles. As I said in the last week, Phillip Rivers has said that he's kind of got that itch to come back and play football. So that's another option the Colts could, another direction the Colts could take. But the reason why I captioned this, because this is interesting because, if you got a guy on your roster who you believe is running this offense smoothly and can play, why go out and make any moves? You have a good enough team. They have a good enough team, and they have the running backs to complement this young quarterback. So I think it's very interesting. And another reason why it's interesting is because Jake Easton was Indianapolis' 4th-round pick last year. And they were pretty high on him to be the heir apparent to Phillip Rivers when Rivers retired. Well, then, obviously, from what I'm reading about camp so far this year for Colts, Jake Easton isn't performing too well with his decision-making. Like, he has a big arm, but he has a problem with accuracy and with the right decision-making. And apparently, according to the report I read, Sam Ehlinger, what he lacks in throw power, he makes up for in accuracy and vision. So my thing is if you got a guy like that, or if you got a guy who's proving that he can run this offense, now granted it's obviously different when they get on the field, but I say don't make a move just yet. See what you got in this Ehlinger kid. See if he can maybe fill in for Wentz the whole time while Wentz is out. Because then you ain't got to go cause no friction by getting Nick Foles. And then you ain't got to go spend no extra money by getting a quarterback in Phillip Rivers, who is still credible but also very limited at this stage in his career. So I think it's an interesting topic. I do. Hit the comment section. If you're a Colts fan out there, let me know what you guys think about this situation. Do you guys think Sam Ehlinger will push hard enough and eventually sway Frank Reich to say, maybe I shouldn't go make a move and go get Nick Foles and cause friction with Carson Wentz already this soon in the relationship? in this new tenure here in Indianapolis. Or maybe save money and not sign Phillip Rivers. Maybe this Ehlinger kid can, ride the ship. Keep in mind, it would be kind of a smart move because nobody has tape on Sam Ehlinger and how they play with him. And we've seen that some teams, even if the guy's a bust the next season or has a slump the next season, that first season could be lightning in a bottle because there's no film on him. So that's my take on the Colts QB competition situation right now. I want to know what your take is on it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. You guys think Sam Ehlinger will not only beat out Jake Easton for the starting spot in absence of Carson Wentz, do you guys also think that this will keep Indianapolis from re-signing Phillip Rivers or trading for Nick Foles? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about that. And before we move on, we're going to take another short break. All right, we are back. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live, and I'm your host, Marcus J. We are covering some NFL news in this point of the show. As I stated, Sam Ehlinger is giving Jake Easton competition in the Colts quarterback battle. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you guys think Sam Ehlinger, from the reports I've been reading, Frank Reich really likes the way he runs the offense. So do you think Sam Ehlinger could keep playing well enough, especially in preseason, to persuade Frank Reich not to go out and acquire Nick Foles via trade, or Phillip Rivers, who has expressed his desire to come back and play football? Do you think Sam Ehlinger can play well enough to persuade Frank Reich not to go make any other quarterback decision moves? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right, and we're going to move on to Aaron Rodgers plans to sit the entire preseason. I chose this topic because I do think it's a little bit interesting, and I think it's a smart move by Rodgers. You know, let Jordan Love see what the Packers have in Jordan Love. See what he can do on a basically a full-time preseason basis, being that he's going to be taking most of the snaps. We already know what Aaron can do, and I also think health-wise it makes sense for Aaron. I mean, he is on the middle ages of 30. You know, we know he wants to win now, so why risk playing in preseason and potentially getting hurt? I like the move by Aaron Rodgers, and on top of that, it's also worth to note Aaron Rodgers is coming in the best physical shape of his career. He is. He is. He really put the time in this past offseason and put in work on his physical shape and his physical outlook. And I think also because of all that extra training that he put into his body, that's why he's willing to sit out the preseason so he can let his body rest up for the regular season. So I like it. Don't take any unnecessary risks. We don't need to see what Aaron Rodgers looks like. We know what Aaron Rodgers looks like. Let the Packers see what they have in Jordan Love. I also think that that's also a kind of a shot taken at the Packers in a subliminal way, because, okay, I'm going to sit out the whole preseason. You drafted this kid last year in the first round. Let's see what he got. Let's see what he has to offer. Let's see what he has to offer. You know what I have to offer. I'm Aaron fucking Rodgers. I'm the man. But you guys drafted this kid first round, 26 overall, when we didn't need a quarterback. So now, throw him in there. Let's see what we have. Because there's a possibility I might not be here next year. So you're going to have to take a look one way or another. Let the kid get his reps. I like the move by Aaron Rodgers. Let the Packers see what they have in Jordan Love. Let them get some glimpses, see if there's some potential, some upside there, as well as stay healthy, get ready for the season, and get ready to try to make another run in the Super Bowl. I love it. I love it. I really do. I really do. And I think it's important for him to take this break because, like I said, he's worked entirely this whole offseason on his body. Like, he looks in great shape. He looks in fantastic shape. So with that extra little bit of training, sometimes you need a little bit of extra longer rest. One could say, oh, Marcus, you know, he just came back off of being in Cali and, you know, going on vacations and hosting Jeopardy and doing this and that. Yeah, but he was also still training. And being that he was training to be in the best physical shape he can be in, obviously he put in the best workout in an offseason that he ever did in his career. And then he's in his mid-30s. It's going to need a little bit of extra rest. I agree with it. I like it. And plus, keep in mind that Aaron Rodgers does have an injury history with the clavicle. So, you know, you don't want to take any unnecessary risks. That's why I love the fact that Aaron Rodgers is sitting out in the preseason. But I want to know what you guys think. Hit the comment section. Do you guys think it's a good move by Aaron Rodgers to sit the preseason? Do you guys think it's a bad move for him to sit the preseason? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that for some reason these 4 games, him not playing, or 2 games in preseason, will have an effect on him playing well, will cause him to be rusty? I don't think so. These guys take a limited amount of snaps in preseason anyway. What's it going to do to him? He's Aaron Rodgers. He'll be fine. All right, and our last part of NFL news for today. In the first game of preseason between the Cowboys and the Steelers, the Cowboys fall 16-3. And a lot of you are like, oh, why are you posting preseason, scores and stuff like that? Because it's still a game. And also, you get to take a look at each team and the type of depth that they have. And for what I've seen from Dallas, they don't look like they got too much depth out there. They look like the cupboard's a little bare. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to the backup quarterback position. When you score 3 points, you know what I mean? Like, you got to do better than that. Even as a backup team, you got to do better. I don't think the Cowboys have any depth whatsoever from what I saw. They don't have no depth. What they have is their core, and that's what they're banking on. And I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, it's going to be another disappointing season because from what I saw in that first preseason game, you guys have no depth. Y'all backups are ass. Terrible. Terrible. I know the games don't matter. I know these preseason games don't matter, but it matters to the second team. It don't matter so much to the first team. Dak, Zeke, Cooper, Gallup, fucking Lamb. It don't matter to those guys, but it matters to the backups. It matters to the second team. It matters to the third team. And from what I saw, from what I watched, the Dallas Cowboys have no depth. They have a talented core, but they don't have that good backup depth that you need to be a complete team. From what I see, and from what I've seen, just in that one game alone, the Dallas Cowboys are once again banking on this core of Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, now Tony Pollard if you add him in the backfield, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. Then you switch to the defense. Leighton Vander Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence, Wolf Hunter, Jalen Smith, for those who don't know that nickname. They're relying on the same core. The only thing new about him is Michael Parsons. That's it. But outside of their main core that you know is going to be heavily featured, the main starting team, this team has no depth. They have no depth whatsoever. And I just think it's going to be another disappointing regular season for Cowboys fans. From what I've seen. Could I be wrong? Yes. But God forbid if Zeke goes down. God forbid if Dak goes down again. You already seen that situation with Dak. What happens? What happens if Amari Cooper goes down? What happens if Gallup goes? What happens if the whole ship goes down? They literally have no depth. They have a talented core, but the cupboard is bare on the back end. And as far as the Steelers, they looked okay. Their defense is going to be really good. That defense is what's going to keep them in a lot of games. It's the offense that's questionable. But I think if they can get Najee Harris going and protect Ben, because that offensive line is still very questionable. But if they can get Najee Harris going, and that's what they have to do. They have to revolve that offense around Najee Harris. It can't be about Ben Roethlisberger no more. Yes, is Ben coming off a season where he threw 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions? Yes. But let's be honest about the Steelers last year. They played a lot of bum teams. A lot of bum teams. And then when they start facing good teams, you've seen what happened. They lost. They start losing. So, from my take on what the Steelers look like, their defense, they're going to be the Steelers' defense. That defense is going to be tops again in the league. I have no doubt about that. The offense is what's questionable. If they can build this offense around Najee Harris, and protect Ben Roethlisberger, especially when they need to protect him, then the Steelers will be back in the conversation. But that offense is questionable. But hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about that first preseason game of the season. What do you guys think about what I said about the Dallas Cowboys having no depth? Do you guys agree with me about the Cowboys having no depth based on what you saw in the Hall of Fame game? Or do you think I'm overreacting and that it's just, a preseason game and these guys, just all of these guys from the first team to the backup team just ain't really trying to play, which I call bullshit, because if you're the second and the third team, you're trying to play hard because you're trying to get on the roster. So hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the Cowboys. Do you believe what I say, that they have no depth, that they have no talent, real talent outside of the core that we know of, their main core? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys saw from the Cowboys in that Sunday night game in the Hall of Fame game against Steelers. As well as let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what you saw out of the Steelers. And do you agree with me that the defense is going to be once again tops in the league, but the offense is questionable? But if they can revolve the offense around Najee Harris and protect Ben Roethlisberger, can the Steelers' offense save face and the Steelers can be a legit team once again in this NFL title race? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. All right. We're going to move on to the last topic of the day. We got some MMA news coming out of Bellator. Legendary MMA heavyweight Fedor Emelianenko is set to face Tim Johnson in Moscow October 23rd. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe this will be Fedor Emelianenko's retirement fight, which is why it's being held in Moscow. I do believe this will be Fedor's last fight. He has nothing really else to offer the sport. He's not a legitimate contender anymore. He's not like trying to fight for a title. He had this nice last little run. He faced some losses, etc., etc. He got some wins. I do believe this will be Fedor Emelianenko's last fight, and it will be in Moscow, and it's basically in his hometown of Russia. His home country of Russia. But once again, Fedor Emelianenko and Tim Johnson is set for Moscow, in Moscow for October 23rd. That will also be going up against a UFC card. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of viewers they pull for that. But I expect them to pull some viewers, being that it's Fedor. And I honestly do believe Fedor Emelianenko will retire after this fight, is whether he wins, lose, or draw. I think the fact of it being in Moscow is a pretty telling sign. But I want to know what you guys think about Fedor Emelianenko versus Tim Johnson in Moscow. Do you want to see this fight? Do you believe me when I say this might be Fedor's last fight, or do you think he'll fight on? But the more important question is, do you guys want to see Fedor fight on, even if he wins this fight? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Me personally, I don't. I think he should have stayed retired a long time ago. You're not competing for championships. It's cool. If you want to fight, that's up to you. You're a grown man. But I feel like if you're going to put your body and your health at risk, you got to be fighting for something other than money. Other than money, you have to be fighting for something. So hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about Fedor Emelianenko fighting Tim Johnson and under the Bellator banner on October 23rd in Moscow. As well as, who do you guys have winning this fight? Do you have Fedor winning this fight, or do you have Tim Johnson pulling up what would be an upset just based on name value? You know, Tim Johnson, he's an okay fighter, but he's not a big name fighter. He's a quality opponent. He's an opponent that even at this advanced age of 44 years old, Fedor Emelianenko should beat. But I want to know your opinion. If there's any MMA fans out there, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this will be Fedor Emelianenko's last fight, or do you think he'll fight on whether win, lose, or draw after this fight? As well as, do you want to see Fedor continue to fight? And are you excited for this fight? Me personally, I'm just looking at this as just another fight. I can't get excited for this fight because Fedor's past his prime and he's not fighting for anything. You know, there's nothing real here of note that he's fighting for, just to fight. But I want to know what you guys think. If there's any MMA fans out there, any Fedor fans, let me know how you guys think this fight will end. And do you guys think that this will be Fedor's last fight, being that it is being held in Moscow? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about that, about Fedor Emelianenko versus Tim Johnson. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for today. I appreciate all those who took a chance to view this show. It's a 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. The support is greatly appreciated. As well as, before I do go, we do have merch. I do have it in the link description of my YouTube channel. I just put the brand new merch store up. The link is in the description on my About section of my YouTube channel. So if you want to go cop some 717 Sports Chat Live merch, it's on there. It's on the Wix store, etc. Take a look. You know what I mean? I will be continue to build, continue to make more merchandise, etc., etc. So if there's anything even if you have any ideas yourself as the viewer, don't feel free, hit the comment section, or you can also hit my email, 717scl@gmail.com. If you have any ideas for merch, etc., as well as we will be doing a subscriber contest, as well as a giveaway here later on in the show, later on in the month for the show. We will be doing that for all my 18 subscribers that so far subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you guys. Get the word out there, share my videos. Let's keep building this up. As well as tomorrow, I will be providing a subscriber goal. Trust me, we're still in the beginning phases of this channel, of this show. So obviously, you know, there's still room for improvement. We're going to get there. But I appreciate those who watch. All y'all have a blessed evening out there in the 717 and abroad. This is Marcus J, and I'm out for the night. Y'all stay blessed.